Today on Ballistic Barbecue, I'm going to be cooking up a beautiful dry-aged USDA Prime tri-tip on the all-new Badger barrel. Let's get going. In addition to this cook, I'm going to be showing you the brand new Badger barrel, which actually launched a couple days ago since the publishing of this video. Very excited about that. This is going to be my first actual cook on it. I burned it in, but I haven't cooked on it yet. Extremely versatile and very affordable. But before we start going into the pit, I want to go ahead and season up this meat so it has time to kind of absorb the goodness prior to the cook. So this is a 30-day dry-aged tri-tip that I actually dry-aged, did a video on it. For the seasoning, I'm just using a seasoning that I whipped up. This is some very coarse salt, some coarse pepper. It's got some garlic flakes, some roasted garlic flakes, some onion flakes, and it's really good stuff. Basic, and that's all we want, is something basic. Clean up my hands really fast. While this piece of meat is resting, I'm going to show you that Badger barrel. And this is the Badger barrel. The Badger barrel was brought to us by the same people that created the Pit Barrel Cooker. I've been a longtime fan of the Pit Barrel Cooker ever since the owner Noah was making pit barrels in his garage in Colorado. That was a long time ago. And he's incorporated a lot of the same qualities that the Pit Barrel Cooker has into the Badger barrel, but you'll soon see this is a lot more versatile, I think, than the Pit Barrel Cooker. First thing I want to point out is there's actually two sections, and the sections are locked together with latches. We have cool touch handles on both sides of the barrel as well as the lid. It's got a nice domed lid with an adjustable damper system, which is cool. The height of the barrel up to the rim here is about 33¼ inches. Then when we add the lid on, it's about 38½ inches. I'm sure all the exact measurements are in the Okay, Crow. I'm sure all the exact measurements are in the manual, but you know, it's just the way I am. I'm using a tape measure. So let's get this lid off. I do want to point out that there's a hanger inside of this. If I don't point it out now, I'll forget. But you can hang the lid off of the side of the barrel here. So with the lid off, you can see there's tabs here. First thing I'm going to show you is how you would cook if you were in pit barrel mode. Put this rack right on. Then you would use your pit barrel meat hangers to hang your meat off of this rack. All of the Pit Barrel Cooker accessories work on this cooking system here. Then we have smoking and grilling mode, which is just basically placing a grill grate on top. And then we can grill with the lid off or put the lid on and we can smoke, just kind of traditionally with the meat laying on the grate. There's also two levels here. So you could use that to get the grate down to a little bit closer to the heat, or you could take that hanger and using some of the accessories, maybe cook some vegetables or something hanging below your meat while you're grilling on top or smoking on top. Now I'm going to remove this upper section, and this is where the magic comes in, I think. Before I go into the next cooking mode, I want to show you basically the damper system and also the charcoal basket. So I'm going to remove the charcoal basket so you can see the damper. Also, just point out, this is cool. It's got a little kind of a dome that's preventing, you know, the ashes and everything from going up through the damper. That's a good design feature. So here's the damper. You can see it's fully closed now. So with the damper in the fully closed position, when you're done cooking, we can basically snuff out any remaining charcoal so you can reuse it. Now I'm going to show you the damper settings for the different pit barrel modes. Quarter of the way open, and it's marked 1/4 right there. This is where I would basically have it if I were cooking. Because just like the Pit Barrel Cooker, you're setting that bottom damper based on the elevation that you're cooking at. I'm here in San Diego, so you know we're basically between sea level and 2,000 feet where I'm at. So this is the setting that I would use. If you're cooking at 2,000 to 5,000 feet above sea level, then you're going to go to 1/2. 5,000 to 8,000, then you're going to go to 3/4. And if you're cooking 8,000 and above, you're going to go fully open. The next mode I'm going to show you is the one I'm most excited about. For demonstration purposes only, I'm going to put the charcoal basket in because obviously you need to have charcoal in here. Then grill grate down, and we are in hibachi mode. And I'm picturing this for, doing your reverse sears, which is what I'm going to do today, by the way. Or, you're camping. I'm picturing people just sitting around here grilling up kebabs or something. But again, look how portable this is. I mean, if you just wanted to take this to the beach or something, or the lake, that's pretty darn cool. So that's the quick overview. I'm sure that I'll remember things. One thing I do want to point out is it has a heat-resistant, chip-resistant surface on it, the paint. It's really, and it's got a nice texture to it, so it's very unique looking. I think the best way to review this thing now is to actually get to cooking on it, so let's get going with that. All right, so what I did here was filled the basket up level with regular old briquettes. My beautiful, sexy looking charcoal chimney here. I put 25% of the charcoal that was in here, I guessed, in here. I'm going to go ahead and get this into the cooker here. I have some fire starters here. I'm just going to put the chimney on top, and I'm going to leave it there for 12 to 15 minutes, no longer than 15 minutes. Again, this is all kind of based on the elevation that I'm cooking at. So I'm about 13 minutes in, and that's what it's looking like charcoal-wise, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour this in. Now we'll start assembling the cooker here. Again, I already have my damper setting down there for 1/4 for that kind of that pit barrel mode temperature range. Let's go ahead and get that tri-tip on. Now I'm doing a reverse sear here, so I want to monitor that internal temp of my meat. So I'm going to get it into the thickest part of this tri-tip. As far as the upper dampers, I'm going to close them like halfway. So there's no thermometer on this Badger barrel, but again, it's built off the principle of the pit barrel cooker where thermometer's not needed. What I did was I shut it down halfway, which is about the same amount of air that the pit barrel cooker was allowing out. But I'll check on the meat now and again, and if I feel like I want a little bit more heat, I'll just open up that damper a little bit on the lid, not on the bottom. And if I feel like maybe there's too much heat coming in, then I'll shut it down a little bit. So it's just, again, not a whole lot to worry about, just kind of applying a little common sense. So what I'm going to do now is just monitor the temperature, the internal temperature of that meat. And my target temperature is going to be 125 degrees when I pull this off. At about 90 degrees or so, 85 or 90 degrees, I'll flip this piece of meat and just continue cooking it again until it hits 125 degrees Fahrenheit. After that, we'll pull it off while the meat is resting. I'm going to get this thing into hibachi mode, and then we're going to grill that steak or that tri-tip. Again, fun stuff. Now, one thing I forgot to mention when I was doing the overview is these two screws here. And this is where you can actually mount a Badger bottle opener. My friend Noah didn't send me that. So, Mr. Badger, meet Mr. Armadillo. Let me see here. Cheers, Amber and Noah. About 15 minutes in, you just hit 90 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and flip that. Right, another 20 minutes, we hit that 125 mark. Yeah, nice color. So I'm going to allow this to rest now. I'm just going to drape it with foil, let it rest, and then set this cooker up for hibachi mode. So as you can see, this grill is ready to go and it is hot. And I also wanted to point out that there's a metal like dish between the legs below where the bottom damper is, just in case any ashes escape and drop out of the cooker, they're captured by that dish. But I also, I took a thermometer, an instant read, a very nice instant read, and laid it underneath the cooker, and it's 4 or 5 degrees hotter underneath the cooker than it is in the air right now. So I would feel pretty comfortable using this on an outdoor, table. Not a glass table just because, but like, a table with tiles on it, or even a wooden park bench, I think would be safe. So what I plan on doing is, instead of laying it down here for a minute, flipping it, hold it for a minute and flip, I'm going to go 30 seconds flip, 30 seconds flip, 30 seconds flip, 30 seconds flip. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give this about 15 minutes or so to rest, and then we're going to slice it up and see how we did. In the meantime, I'm going to put the lid on, close the dampers completely, top and bottom. And here we are, all rested up, smelling really good. So the grain on a tri-tip go in 2 different directions. Right here, that's going more or less this way, and then here it's going more or less this way. So I like to just cut it down the center first. Good, nice pink, medium rare. And here we are, all plated up, looking fancy. Nice, again, a nice color. You can tell it's juicy. I mean, look at that. Hold on. Look at that. Prime, you can see the marbling in there. Let's try this out. And I can smell the smoke. Wow. Again, just look at that. Neighbor's dog smells it, wants a bit of the action. So I will say that I was very happy with that Badger barrel. One thing that I did find out during the cook, while I was cooking in, pit barrel mode, is that upper damper ring barely opened, provided the best results for me. So that's pretty much where I'm going to be running it when I'm hanging ribs and everything. Other than that, I mean, the fact that, very simply disassembled it, and then I had a blazing hot grill. So I'll have links down below for the Badger barrel, and there are accessories. They have a really cool hat and a bottle opener for it. Wink, wink, Noah. But yeah, this thing's awesome, and I cannot wait to try this out while I'm out gallivanting around in my 4x. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. If you're not subbed, please do. Make sure you ring the notification bell and thumb it up. I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.